Chapter 092 Overwhelming Magical Power. The 4 inner sect disciples I sent are all extremely reliable. They carry all kinds of concealment talismans, so the chance of them being discovered is very low. Even if they are found, would Fang Han dare to harm them? Injuring a fellow disciple is a felony. At the very least, their cultivation would be crippled. At worst, they would be imprisoned for life. Perhaps Fang Han's group went deep underground, and something went wrong with the paper crane messenger. This matter is not urgent anyway. Yi Tianan spoke lightly and casually to Fang Qingwei, but inwardly he was on high alert, quietly turning every possible outcome over in his mind. But just at that moment, 4 paper cranes came dancing into view, flying from the distance, circling up and down around him. There is news. Delight surged through Yi Tianan. He waved a hand, and the paper cranes descended one after another, unfolding into sheets of paper covered entirely in writing. Fang Qingwei leaned over to read. The pages were covered in dense text, detailing everything Fang Han had encountered after entering the underground to cultivate. First he had run into an army of Xianxias and fled in panic, then he had been chased by the Great Azura commander. All his misfortunes were described vividly, perfectly coherent without any gaps. Ha ha ha, look at that. That is all Fang Han amounts to. He lost the 7 calamities gourd, and he truly has no other remarkable trump cards left. When the mountain and river ranking tournament comes, what do you want me to do to him? Cripple all his cultivation? Or break his hands and feet? After finishing reading, Yi Tianan laughed out loud, his heart thoroughly satisfied. Normally, harming or maiming a fellow disciple carries severe punishment. Only during the mountain and river ranking tournament are injury and death not forbidden in duels. Fang Qingwei spoke coldly. She was very familiar with the sect's rules. I don't want his life. I only want you to cripple his cultivation, and leave him to live as a slave forever. I will make him know what it feels like to be worse off dead than alive. This insolent slave dared to oppress his master. He is utterly lawless. Our Fang family boils this kind of slave to death in steam cages. Good. Let us go pay our respects to senior brother Wanluo. The two climbed up Wanluo Peak. Though Wanluo Peak was not as grand as Tiandu Peak, it was still lofty and majestic. A stone staircase coiled like a black dragon, rising high into the clouds, leading straight to the numerous palaces at the summit. It was nearing winter, yellow leaves falling everywhere, the whole world bearing the scenery of late autumn. Yet the trees on Wanluo Peak grew lush and green, mist and rosy clouds billowed everywhere, flowing springs and flying waterfalls, cranes beating their wings, white deer holding lingji in their mouths, apes carrying peaches of immortality. It was the very picture of an immortal paradise. Rumor says every spiritual tree on Wanluo Peak is watered with elixir dissolved in water. That is why the spiritual energy is so dense, and the trees never lose their vitality. Senior brother Wanluo is truly generous beyond measure. Fang Qingwei said in surprise as she looked at the tall, stately trees that exuded a rich woody aura. Of course. The spirit pills ordinary disciples dream of are nothing to senior brother Wanluo, just ordinary fertilizer to water his flowers. Cultivating on Wanluo Peak is many times better than cultivating anywhere else. Yi Tianan's words conveyed at once how wealthy, powerful, and supremely skilled in the Tao this true disciple Wanluo was. Wanluo Peak towered into the clouds. An ordinary person would have to climb the steps for days and nights, wearing themselves out to death before reaching the summit. But Yi Tianan and Fang Qingwei were both powerful experts with profound cultivation and great stamina, so climbing took little effort. After an hour, they stepped onto the cloud-wreathed summit of Wanluo Peak. A magnificent palace loomed before their eyes. Wanluo Palace. This was the cultivation palace of Nan Wanluo, one of the 5 great true disciples. In front of Wanluo Palace lay a huge square, paved entirely with precious sea blue stone. It was as flat as a mirror, as hard as iron. The sea blue colors stretched to the horizon, looking like rolling ocean waves, a fresh moist breeze blowing straight into one's face. The square was a full 10 li across, making any person standing on it feel tiny and insignificant. This square was carved by senior brother Wanluo with great magical power. He leveled the mountain peak, then commanded ghosts and gods, sent great power demons to haul sea blue stone from far away to pave it. Yi Tianan explained that. What overwhelming magical power! When will I reach that realm, able to command the ghosts and gods of heaven and earth, where all spirits obey my command the moment I issue an order? Fang Qingwei clenched her fist. Trot! 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 Just then, the sound of hooves carried across the square. The two looked over and saw many inner and outer sect disciples standing in the center of the square, each holding the reins of a tall, strong horse. These tall horses were all a clear yellow all over, their manes like gold. At first glance, they looked as if they were cast from pure gold. The breath they blew out from their nostrils was as fierce as a dragon's, making one wonder if they were actually descended from dragons. These are Xian yellow horses from the Great Xiani Empire under the command of the Tai Dao. Senior brother Tsang is testing his magical power here, Yi Tianan said the moment he saw the scene. Fang Qingwei stared closely and saw that the 70 or so inner and outer disciples each mounted one of these Xian yellow horses, then suddenly roared out as one, whipping their horses forward. Boom! The 70-odd Xian yellow horses surged into a violent gallop. Where the iron hoofs fell, the ground shook, the roar rolling like thunder, their impact unmatched. But just then, a tall young Taoist stood watching the galloping Xian yellow horses. He spread his 5 fingers and clawed empty-handedly through the air. Whoosh! Whoosh! Massive streams of air, like invisible ropes, actually pulled all 70-odd galloping Xian yellow horses to a sudden halt. No matter how the horses thundered on and neighed, they were held fast by the magical power, unable to move forward even half a step. Down. With a sharp roar, the 70-odd Xian yellow horses were suddenly thrown off their feet. Men and horses went tumbling all over the ground, clawing through empty air to hold 80 galloping horses. This Taoist's magical power was truly overwhelming. These Xian yellow horses came from the Great Xiani Empire, the largest empire under heaven. The Great Xiani Empire had a population of over 10 billion and venerated the Tai Dao. Many empires across the world quietly took this empire's laws, currency, and weights and measures as their standard. The Great Xiani Empire's coins were accepted everywhere in the world. And these Xian yellow horses could travel 3,000 li in a single day. A charge of heavy cavalry mounted on them could break through even city walls. Any dynasty that uses the 5-horse dismemberment torture uses Xian yellow horses as the standard. At the same time, experts of the mystic ability realm also used this method of clawing empty air to hold galloping horses to test how strong their magical power was. With my current strength and physical toughness, I can only withstand the pulling force of 13 galloping horses at most. Senior brother Tsang was promoted to true disciple after the mountain and river ranking tournament 2 years ago. He has closed himself off for 2 years to strengthen his magical power, and he is still only at the first level of the mystic ability realm, yet he can hold back 81 Xian yellow war horses with his magical power. He is so much stronger than me. The mystic ability realm truly is extraordinary. Yi Tianan's mind was swayed, his desire for the mystic ability realm growing even stronger. Once stepping into the mystic ability realm, the increase in power was far more than just a simple multiple of what came before. HM? Junior brother Yi is here? Senior brother Wanluo is waiting for you in the pill room. After pulling down the 81 galloping Xian yellow horses, the Taoist had not had enough. He turned his gaze over and spotted Yi Tianan and Fang Qingwei. Senior brother Tsang's magical power is unmatched. Yi Tianan said hastily. Senior brother Tsang has his own peak. Why have you come to Wanluo Peak today? This meager power of mine is not worth mentioning. Senior brother Wanluo could flick a finger and knock over 100 of me. I came here today to beg some pills that strengthen magical power from senior brother Wanluo. I am about to condense my true chi and step into the second level of the mystic ability realm, the true refining realm. The more overwhelming my magical power is, the better. These disciples wanted to see how strong my magical power is, so they brought out these Shen yellow horses and had me seize them mid-air. Senior brother Tsong turned his gaze to Fang Qingwei. You are senior sister Xianxia's younger sister, right? I heard senior sister Xianxia went to cultivate in the little immortal realm. When she comes out in the future, I hope she will give me some pointers. Senior brother Tsong, I will pass that on to my sister. Fang Qingwei replied quickly. She knew well what to say at a time like this. All right, you may go in. Yi Tianan and Fang Qingwei entered Wanluo Palace. Meanwhile, in Neixian Yuan, in his own pill room, Fang Han was circulating his magical power. Waves of overwhelming magical power spun around his body, driving the air current to form invisible dragons and tigers that roared and charged. Their power so great that the 4 inner sect disciples watching were trembling with shock. Even though each of these 4 inner sect disciples had the strength to hold back 7 or 8 galloping horses, Fang Han had once killed one of them with a single flick of his finger. Not bad, not bad. You are very good at making up stories. Keep deceiving Yi Tianan like this, you may leave now. Fang Han stopped circulating his magical power and waved his hand. Yes, senior brother Fang. We will pass any news of Yi Tianan to you in time. Right now, he and Fang Qingwei have gone to Wanluo Peak. The 4 inner sect disciples quickly hid their auras and slipped out quietly. Yin, I want to test just how overwhelming my current magical power is. How many horses can I hold? Fang Han said. You cultivated the Yellow Emperor's golden body. Your magical power is extremely deep. You are far thicker than ordinary experts who just stepped into the mystic ability realm. You can probably hold more than 90 Xian yellow war horses from the Great Xianxia Empire. Yin considered for a moment, then continued, I just checked the Constellation Power Gathering pill. There is nothing wrong with it. You can take it without worry. This is a holy medicine of the All-Stars sect. After taking it, your magical power will rise to the strength of 100 horses. There are still 2 months until the mountain and river ranking tournament. You should condense your magical power again and again, make it as thick as possible. Don't let a small mistake sink you. I will not be careless. The top names on the mountain and river ranking are no ordinary characters. They have powerful magic treasures, even precious treasures. Yi Tianan going to Wanluo Peak is most likely going to borrow a magic treasure, Fang Han sneered inwardly. After returning from underground, he had closed himself off to cultivate, circulating his magical power to thicken and strengthen the power in his body, laying a solid foundation for himself. How strong is Hua Tiandu's magical power? He suddenly asked Yin. Immeasurable. It cannot even be measured by the strength of Xian yellow horses. That man can move mountains and fill seas. The Panwu Great Strength art is famous for its overwhelming magical power. If I had to force a calculation, it is probably thousands of times yours, even tens of thousands of times. Experts of the longevity realm can even drain an entire river dry in an instant. Take the Long Yuan River for example. The Yellow Spring Emperor could drain that 10,000 li long river of every drop of water in an instant, and move all that water somewhere else. That kind of magical power is beyond human imagination. Yin seemed to fear he would break Fang Han's confidence, so he added, but when 2 cultivators fight, while overwhelming magical power is a great advantage, it is not everything. Cultivation in the mystic ability realm is many times harder than in the mortal body realm. Every advancement requires paying a huge price. Don't think Fang Qingxue cultivates so fast just out of natural talent. She obtained enormous good fortune. She carries a great secret on her. He is that strong? Fang Han knew that the road ahead of him was still long and arduous.